welcome to The Burning of the Midnight Lamp, where we are dissecting music history, album by album, song by song. In this episode, we are looking into the title track of David Bowie's Next Day album from 2013. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to hear other analyses of songs from this album, and if you'd like to hear the full analysis of the whole album, including the songs, please subscribe to our podcast. And in addition to that, if you want to hear the full podcast and listen along with us to all the songs from this album, then please join us on Patreon. Links and descriptions are in the comments below. So that takes us to the very first song on the album, which is the title track, The Next Day. A song written by David Bowie, recorded 2nd May 2011 and 16th of March 2012. And what if we just start by listening to the song?
Oh yeah.
Here we go, The Next Day.
Look into my eyes, it tells her I'm gonna say goodbye, he says, yeah. Junior cries, she begs of him goodbye, yeah. All the days she thinks of his love, yeah. They're whipping through the streets and alleys there. The corners and the baying crowd right there. They can't get enough of that doomsday song. They can't get enough of it all. Listen. Listen to the horse, he tells her. He fashions paper sculptures of them, then drags them to the river's bank in the cart. Their soggy paper bodies rush ashore in the dark, and the priest, stiff and head, now demanding from big girl of his wearing dressed as man for the pleasure of that beast. Here I am, not quite died, my body left to rot in a hollow tree. Its branches throwing shadows on the gallows for me. And the next day, and the next, and another day. Ignoring the pain of their particular diseases, they chase him through the alleys, chasing down the steps. They haul him through the mud and they chant for his death, and drag him to the feet of the purple-headed priest. First they give you everything that you want, then they take back everything that you have. They live upon their feet and they die upon their knees. They can work with Satan while they dress like the saints. They know God exists, but the devil told them so. They scream my name aloud, turn and tell the world below. Here I am, not quite dying, my body left to rot in a hollow tree. Its branches throwing shadows on the gallows for me. And the next day, and the next, and another day. Here I am, not quite dying, my body left to rot in a hollow tree. Its branches throwing shadows on the gallows for me. And the next day, and the next, and another day. Here I am, not quite dying, my body left to rot in a hollow tree. Its branches throwing shadows on the gallows for me. And the next day, and the next, and another day. Listen.
Yes, so that starts with a bang.
It sure does. He kicks the doors wide open and begins with a sonic statement. I'm not sure if it's a lyrical statement, but he calls us to listen with an imperative, and he shouts the title of the track several times, so we know that this is the next day and we have to listen. And the rest of the lyric is quite puzzling.
It's quite grim, to be honest.
Quite grim, yes.
Yeah.
It might be puzzling, but it led to some consternation, especially along with the music video in certain Christian communities. And it was even taken down from YouTube for a while because of those controversies.
Yeah. It's quite a political video.
Short video.
The video is much short. I mean, it's a short song to begin with. It's just above 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
The video version is even shorter. I think it's only
294 or something.
one chorus or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe we can start by talking a little bit on the video.
Yeah, we can. It seems like Bowie's trying to do a Madonna just 30 years too late. With the celebrity cameos and some blood and naughty priests.
I mean, we have the great Gary Oldman as a priest. Another great actress, or an actress, French Marion Cotillard.
A great actress.
Great actress. As kind of like Mary Magdalene type figure. And then we have David Bowie there.
And his band, I think, as well, performing in the background. At least Gaylan Dorsey is there. It's a bit harder to recognize the other.
Yeah, it's a bar scene. It has some religious figures, a half-naked woman, some gruesome stigmata, and some horror elements.
Albino woman.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, it was received as mocking Christianity, basically, and particularly the Catholic Church. And it, as I mentioned, it led to controversy in certain Christian groups who found it obscene. A guy called Bill Donahue in the Catholic League criticized Bowie in the video, calling it a mess. The former Archbishop George Carey criticized the song as juvenile and questioned if Bowie would have dared to do the same using Islamic imagery. And there were other Christian voices describing the video as desperate and questioned what the point was of it all. So I mentioned YouTube initially banned it, but quickly reinstated it with an age restriction, acknowledged that it was a mistake to remove it in the first place.
Mm.
Yeah, well, it's not that provocative, I would say, in the 2010s. At least I don't think it was very provocative, considering the previous 30 years of music videos. It was a lot of well directed and framed images. So visually, it's very striking and interestingly visually, but it's not much of a story, or I don't think you could say there's much political content. It's hard to get any meaning from it, I would say.
Well, it's also directed by a director that Bowie used several times.
Yes.
Gloria Sigismondi.
And I would say it's definitely in her style, so it doesn't really come as a big surprise the way it is done. She quotes to be inspired by, among others, David Lynch, which you can well see in her type of author style that she uses. And
also these long, thin models who move very quickly. She also used in the 90s videos for Bowie, Little Wonder and
Dead Man
Walking, yes. And another one from the next day, Stars Are Out Tonight. And then also Baroque surrealist imagery.
And I mean, this is all done with humor as well. The first thing that Gary Oldman does as a priest is to just hit a beggar on the way into this bar.
Yeah.
And then you have Bowie standing up almost like Christ in the end and thanking the actors.
Yeah, that's interesting because he sort of breaks role and says, "Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Marion." And then he dissolves or goes goes to heaven or something. Something weird happened in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting video, and even though I personally didn't think it was very provocative, and in our modern age, at least at the time, I thought it's nice to have Bowie trying to, he's an old guy, but he still tries to put some blood and controversy on his videos. He's not turned into Paul McCartney yet.
But at the same time, we do see a general trend, maybe not so common back then, but at least in recent years, that people just get much more easily offended than they used to be before. Maybe it is just part of that whole trend as well.
Maybe it started here. Who knows?
Maybe. Anyways, maybe if we continue a little bit on the lyrics here, and they are filled with strong and evocative imagery that echoes both religious and societal criticism. So that seems to be the main theme on the song here.
Taken as a whole, I think this song, as the opening song of The Next Day, and it's the title track, and it's sort of like a Bowie trying to scream at the audience, "Look at me! I'm still not dead. I'm alive.
Here
Listen."
I am, not quite dying.
Yes,
I mean, how much
that's
clearer can it be said than that?
Yes, so it's almost too apparent that this is a song, a meta song about himself at this point of his career. I'm not dying, I'm not gone. This is the comeback song. And he also quotes himself, "Listen." It's brings to mind another Bowie song, "Breaking Glass," where he also shouts "listen," and the music of the song, at least to my ear, reminds me of opening songs from other Bowie Visconti albums, like Beauty and the Beast in particular, and
Scary Monster-ish
yes, it's no
type
game
of music in there as well.
Yeah, I think that it's the guitar that sounds very frippish, if that's an adjective.
I also find it interesting, especially leading into the when he sort of builds up his voice, becomes more and more intense into each chorus, especially in verse 3 when he does that. His voice becomes very similar to the same type of singing voice he had back in the Ziggy Stardust days, which isn't very often you hear after the glam rock period, actually.
It's the young Bowie voice, and he
still has that.
Many era of Bowie voices on this album, and I think that's, you have these self-references in the lyrics, in the music, and this placement in the beginning, title track, "Here I am, not quite dying." Is this a song about Bowie? But then you have all this lyric that is quite puzzling, because it's obviously a historic image set somewhere in the Middle Age or before sometime long before there existed a David Bowie. And there's this purple-headed priest, and there's the body in the hollow tree left to rot, and there's the gallows, and then you have the video with all this religious imagery. So I think this song, more than any other song on the album, is this blurring of things that are obviously Bowie biographical, self-referential, and then something completely different from history, and something he read about or wanted to describe. So what to make of it if we add this thing together? It's not easy to extract a single meaning. Just try to absorb these different parts of the song at the same time.
Mm. There's a line in the song that can't get enough of that doomsday song. I mean, in the Bowie context, there is only one doomsday song, 5 Years, which is also referenced musically in another song on the album. But it's possible, could be hinting at that, because there are hints here and there in single lines on the other parts of the songs as well. But personally, I think this is a really great song. Particularly fond of the chorus. I think that's super catchy.
Yeah.
Very simple chanting voice. It just screams on the same tone, not screaming, but high pitched singing there on the same note. Really, really catchy, I would say.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, as you said, I think for me the favorite part is the build up to the chorus, because it's really like the song is just lifting off its feet before the chorus starts. And you also have this type of, it seems the song is full of these like dominant 7 chords, which gives it almost like this dissonant type of sound. So it's almost unnerving. And then you have this really raucous type of energy going on, like a train that is about to, derail or something.
We also had the strings coming in there on one of the later, at the last chorus as well, which also creates that dissonance that you hear. I think it is Beauty and the Beast probably that has that same quotation from that song, actually, I think.
And speaking of dissonant guitars and the noise in the beginning, I said it sounds frippish, but it could also sound Gabriel's-ish, of course. With I think it sounds like a backwards guitar on top of the ordinary guitar in the first bars, and the first solo also could have been a Gabriel's production. The only thing that I'm not too fond of in this song is the fade. It's almost just begun the song, and then it fades out. And it's not a long fade. It's a quick fade, and then on to the next.
We want more
song. I want more. Or I would say that it has such a strong opening that it would have, you would expect it to have sort of a boom more.
I don't know if you even can manage that, because the song would need to stop. While when you do such a quick fade, it's almost like the song just continues. But before you realize, you're into the next song.
Yeah, the next song is much slower, the Dirty Boys. So even if this song had a full stop with or some noisy ending or something, it would still have been jarring.
I would think so.
So, but who are we to question his judgment here? I'm sure it's deliberate, but every time I hear it, I think, oh, that's too soon.
Yeah. No, I guess the type of song that they could have, given the sort of noisy soundscape here, that it could have ended in noise, similar to It's No Game, for example. With shut up at the end. I think we should mention the 3 words that Bowie used to describe the song. As we mentioned earlier in the podcast, Bowie didn't give any interviews at all, but he did describe each song of the album with 3 single words. And the 3 words for the next day was effigies, indulgences, anarchists. And I guess we are certainly touching in on those topics we already have mentioned here, with the effigies, which sort of has that religious connotation. Indulgences, the moral and ethical decay of society, and the rebellious, challenging spirit against an oppressive system, the religious system maybe, or with the anarchist. It still leaves a lot of interpretation, though, that's for sure.
And in such a short song.
And it's also, if we take themes from Bowie's career, there's his women dressed as men for the pleasure of that priest. There's a cross-dressing thread that, of course,
can mention Zachary Alford mentioned that Bowie had said during the recording that the song was about the whorehouse at the Vatican.
The video could at least be
It
that.
could have been a video that he was referring to, yeah.
Yes. But as we discussed during Black Star, and the quote about Black Star being about the rise of ISIS, that could have been like Bowie giving cues to the music, play like this is.
Pretend you are in a whorehouse at the Vatican, play like that.
The band for the evening. Because he did that on several other occasions that we know of. So he rarely gave people the keys to the meaning of his songs. So that would have been more uncharacteristic.
The song was also released as a limited single on a white square-shaped vinyl. A bit of an odd format, but it fits with the album cover.
You mean there was only a limited edition of the single?
Yeah, same track on both sides, vinyl version, but the vinyl itself was square, not round.
Like a picture disc without a picture.
And it reached number 179 on the UK singles chart. So not a big hit, but a super catchy song.
Well, it does make sense because it would be almost like this.
Yeah, I think that's that. I think we ended there. Thank you to everyone who was watching this video. Remember to like and subscribe and keep an eye out for the next track from the next day, which will be dropped in a couple of more days. My name is Frode.
My name is Trond.
And my name is Chris.
Goodbye.
See you soon.
Goodbye.
The next day.